All right, Renato, my friend, how are you this evening?
I'm living the tropical dream.
Yeah, I know you freaking guy lives in, Brazil with beautiful weather every day.
Yeah, not every day, but in
Yeah,
January, it's
well,
pretty
better than
hot.
Indiana.
Yeah, we are having our Indiana São Paulo connection.
Yeah, this is it's been the last couple weeks, or really couple of months have been very brutal with temperatures. So yeah, I could go to Brazil right now and be okay. So,
Oh, I'm sure.
uh, the first question I have, we can just talk. Have you watched any movies the last couple days or week? I know you're on a vacation, so I didn't know if you had opportunity to watch anything recently.
Yeah, today I finished a series called Outer Range. Have you watched it?
Mm-mm, Alter Range? No.
Outer Range is from Prime Video with
Okay.
Josh Brolin, and man, it's so crazy,
Really?
so crazy, man. It's a mix of. I've heard someone saying this, and the guy was right. It's a mix of Yellowstone and Dark, you know.
Huh. Well, that sounds like I would want to watch it, so I have to check it out. Outer Range.
Outer Range. It's really
Okay.
crazy.
Really crazy. And this is a movie, correct?
It's a series, 8 episodes.
Oh, 8 episodes. Okay. So it's a mini
Mm-hmm.
series. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Miniseries,
check it
yeah.
out.
Yeah, I don't like to watch miniseries, but I start to watch this one, and I thought, okay, uh, I didn't figure it out in the first one, and in the
Mm.
second one, and the third one, and I finished the miniseries to try to figure it out, but I don't want to make some spoiler here, but it's
Sure,
really
sure,
crazy.
sure. Yeah, I have to check. Where did you see it at? What station or what streaming service?
Yeah, Prime Video.
Prime. Okay. Yeah, I have a friend of mine who watches lots of Amazon Prime television shows, and he said there's some really good ones recently. So I need to go and check it out. So
Yeah, my
so
wife is an addicted for with this miniseries. She is always watching this miniseries.
yeah, I like watching television if it's really good, if it's a good show or miniseries. But I tend to like stick with mostly movies because I don't have a lot of time. I wish I had more time to sit down and watch a long show, but a lot of times I don't have the opportunity to do so. So movies are a little bit easier for me to watch. So
Yeah, I do prefer to. I don't like to watch miniseries because it makes days to end, and
hmm
I don't like it. But to try to figure it out this one, and
yeah, well, good. That's good. That's good. So, any other shows or movies you've been watching over the last week or
I'm
so?
sorry, I'm not listening to you.
Uh oh. Can you hear me?
I
Are you
can't
able to hear
listen.
me?
Look, it's my microphone.
Is it,
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Uh oh.
Let me get another headset.
Okay. Maybe it's the Brazilian president. So while Renato's doing that, guys, we're gonna probably talk some movies. Oh, can you hear me? Are you able to hear
Oh
me?
shit, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Uh-oh, what happened?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can
Can
you
you
hear
hear me
me?
now?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Ah.
Oh shit.
Let me see if I.
Can you hear me?
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's not working. Can you hear me? No? Okay. Can you hear me? Mate, did you hit the microphone?
All right. All right. I'm gonna try to leave and come back.
Yeah, okay. That's good. All right, guys. So maybe Renato will be trying to come back. If he can't come back, I might stay on for a few minutes. Probably not. I'll probably just turn it off, to be honest. But I wanted to try to do this with my buddy. But we will see if it's a possibility. But anyway, so yeah, we're trying to talk some movies, I hope. And once we do that, then we can kind of build from there. I've been watching a lot of stuff recently, so I've been wanting to kind of talk with someone about the films I've been watching. So I kind of don't want to get too deep in the weeds with a conversation or talking about a specific movie. If Renato will be coming back here shortly. I got my green tea going. My green tea. Ugh. Okay, let's see. Let's try this again.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Are you
Oh,
okay?
yes.
Okay. I thought
I don't
maybe
know what happened.
I think it was the Brazilian president. He was like, "No, you."
Oh man, oh,
Oh man.
I'm
So,
sure that it was him.
so I was gonna ask you, or we were talking, and I had said if you had seen any other movies or TV shows recently that you want to talk about or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm watching a lot of movies
Okay.
lately. You know, the one that I watched that I liked, it was called Maze Runner.
Oh yeah, Maze
It's
Runner. Yes, yes.
Maze
I,
Runner. I started expecting nothing, but
mm,
it was a good one, and I
mhm.
watched the 3 movies, and it was really cool. I watched that one that you said me that it was good, Player One,
Oh,
and
Ready
it's a
Player
really
One.
good movie.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. So you did
yeah,
like it?
I did like it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
it's
that
really
one's a
cool,
good
man.
one because I honestly, it came in the movie theater, of course, and I had zero interest. I was like, nope, this looks stupid.
Hmm.
It looks like it's just all like CGI and computers, and it just looks like to me, it looks just like a video game. So I was like,
Yeah.
I have no interest. And then it came on like a streaming service about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I was like, well, let me go ahead and let me see. It's free, so I can turn it on. If I like it, I can watch it. If I don't, I can turn it off. No big deal. And 20 minutes into the movie, I already regret it not seeing it in the theater. I was like, man, I should have saw this in the theater. It was
Yeah.
so good, and
Yeah.
I know it was good because not only did I like it, which was the nostalgia because of the '80s that I
Hmm.
love. but my son watched it and he loved it. And he of course is a modern day kid who has zero to little interest in the old days of the 80s and the 70s and the 90s. And he was like, Dad, this movie's awesome. And I'm like, yes, it is, son. So yeah, it was a good movie that kind of made all the generations in the last 30 or 40 years all enjoy it. So yeah. So yeah, I'm glad you liked it. That's a movie I can go back to every 3 or 4 months, maybe 5 months, and rewatch it, because there's a lot of rewatchability with that movie. You can watch it and still enjoy it on multiple views.
Yes, so, totally agree.
Yeah, so talking about the word totally, let me see. Totally. So let's see if you know about this movie. Have you seen this movie, Total Recall?
Total Recall, yes. Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It's a crazy one, but it's really cool.
Yeah, I love Arnold Schwarzenegger in Total Recall. So
Total Recall in Brazil, it's called O Vingador do Futuro, the Future Revenger.
Future Revenger?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And so yeah, I remember watching that movie with my dad and my brother, and I really liked it a lot. Do you remember the movie Running Man that he did?
Running Man.
Yeah, he had to fight all the bad guys in like a game. It was like almost like a game, and he had to kill them to get out of to the next level.
Oh, I think I don't watch it.
Oh, you've never seen it?
No.
Oh, that's the one you need to see. Yeah, Running. I don't know what, of course, it is in Portuguese, but Running Man is a really good one.
Running Man.
Yeah. Have you seen Commando? He did the movie Commando.
Commando. I don't think so. I think I don't watch it.
Okay, so that's another one. That came out a little bit later.
Commando. I watch it. Commando.
Yeah, he has to save his daughter. He has to save his daughter. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has all the big guns all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just about the names. Sometimes the names are different here, but
sure. So what is it in Portuguese, Commando? Do you know?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay.
Something like the superhero of the evening. All the titles here are stupid,
Right. Well, yeah. It's you can't control it. It happens.
Yeah. Like, for example, that one with the Beverly Hills Cop with
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. Here it's called Tira da Pesada, which means like a tough cookie cop.
That's awesome. And if I ever see Eddie Murphy, I'm gonna be like, hey, you know what? You did a good job in a tough cookie cop.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh man. So let me ask you, because in America right now, like 2 movies, or like one actor and a movie, saved the movie entertainment market, like the media market, right? So it was Avatar and Tom Cruise in the movie Top Gun Maverick, right? So those 2 movies helped the movie theater system in America not like completely fall apart this year, because everybody came to see those movies. Almost every other movie no one cared about. They put in the theater, it had like maybe an okay weekend, and then it like disappeared, right? So in Brazil, is Tom Cruise a popular actor and people see his movies, or no one really cares? They're just like, whatever.
No, here it's like in America. He is pretty popular. That movie was a huge success here.
Okay. And what about Avatar? Was it popular in Brazil also?
Also, a big success.
So let me ask you: in America, there's been talk over the last year that there's the death of the movie star, where most movie stars in the movie used to be, you can have a famous actor or actress, and everyone would come and see that movie because they were so popular. They were a movie star, right? But now, everyone except Tom Cruise, you have all kinds of movies with famous actors and actresses, and no one is going to see the movies anymore. So, aside from Tom Cruise, so in Brazil, is there any? Do they still have kind of like this idea of the American movie stars? So, if there's a famous actor or actress in a movie, people will come and watch it because they want to see that person in the movie, or not really anymore. Like that one person in the movie does not make people want to go see the movie.
You know, I think that here what happens is kind of we kind of copy America in everything about movies. You know, if something happens in America, it happens here with a little delay, but it happens here too. You know,
Right.
and I agree. I think that the movie stars are a little less popular, but I think that they are. A lot of people go to watch some movie because of some pretty
Sure.
good actor or actress.
Yeah, because it used to be people will go to the movie to go see George Clooney or Julia Roberts, or let me try to think of somebody else like Mel Gibson or Denzel
Brad Pitt.
Washington, Brad Pitt, right? These certain type of actors or actresses, but you know, Tom Hanks, you know, people that are very famous. But now these people are in movies, and no one's really going to see the movies anymore. So their name in the movie is not making Americans go to the theater. So it's very interesting because just 10 years ago, and of course before, those names had big power. People would come and see them, and it was like a big draw for them. But now they're in movies, and no one's going to see them. So we in America, the new conversation is that people don't care about the movie star anymore. They care about like superheroes, like who plays that superhero. That's what they care about. So it's not the actor. It's like Spider-Man or Iron Man or whatever. That's who they go to the theater to see. Not they don't go see Robert Downey Jr. They go see Iron Man. They don't go see John Wick, or they don't go see Keanu Reeves. They go see John Wick. So you know, it's not really about the movie star. So I find it interesting because, you know, I don't know about in Brazil, but in Japan, that they still have big movie stars. Like Japanese actors can get people to come to the theater. Like they have a big following. But like in America, those type of actors don't have don't have the same power anymore. So do you have, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that I'm more old school. You know, I go to the theater for an actor that I like. There are some guys that if this guy is in the movie, you know that probably the movie will be really good.
Right.
Because some actors can choose good movies.
Yes. So for me, there's some actors like Mel Gibson or Keanu Reeves. I will go see their movies. Tom Hanks, not Tom Hanks, I'm like Tom Cruise, maybe. But who I really go see now is the directors. If there's a director who I really like, I will go see their movie no matter what the movie is. So, you know, certain directors will always have me to show up in the theater. So like a Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, Ridley Scott, the certain directors, I will go see their movies. Even if it's not that great or people say it kind of sucks, I will still go because I want to see that movie in the theater.
Yeah, for me, that ones that you talk about is my favorite one is Quentin Tarantino. I always watch his movies. I don't know what it happens, but he is kind of incredible.
Right.
Even the
I
letters on the screen are different in his
yes,
movies. It's so
yes.
cool.
Yeah, I sometimes will go down what we say in English a rabbit hole on YouTube and just keep looking at more and more like Quentin Tarantino interviews or just hanging out watching Quentin Tarantino stuff, interviews or discussions about film. Hey, what's up, Joe? My buddy Joe's on here. He says, "Evening, gentlemen. Hey, if you want to hop on, Joe, I'll send you the link, man. Let me know." Um, he's from Canada. My friend Doctor Exclusive, he is from Canada.
Wow.
So
Hello, Joe.
yeah, Joe's a good guy. Even though he lives in even though he lives in Canada, I still like him. So
Oh, it's not a problem.
yeah, no. But yeah, so yeah, I do enjoy watching certain directors talk about movies, like no matter what. So I just think it's interesting. So for 2023, is there any specific movie that you've heard about that you want to go check out in the theater or try to watch it, or have nothing really came across that you're interested in yet?
You know, this sensation this year here in Brazil is The Last of Us, you know, the
Oh yeah, the
miniseries
TV show on
from
HBO Max. Hmm.
HBO. Yes, I watched the first two episodes
Mm.
with my wife, but I'm kind of critic. I like it, but it's too video game for me, you know.
I have a friend who said the same thing. Him and I were hanging out today, and he told me that you should check it out. But he goes, it's not like I asked if it's like The Walking Dead, and he said it's kind of like The Walking Dead, but it's not that. But it's not. It's also different. And he said it's kind of like you said. It's a little bit more video gamey kind of thing. So we'll see. I'll
Yeah.
check it out. I'm gonna see if my son wants to watch it. So we'll see how it goes.
It's cool, you know, it's cool, but I think that for to serve the video game fans, they did some things on the series for me. For example, there are no spots for the characters pass through this street. They have to get into the hotel and get out for the other side, you know, like a video game. You have no choice. You have to go through this way.
Oh, I see.
You know.
Yeah,
But it's cool. It's cool.
yeah. I'll give it a shot. Like I said, if it's halfway entertaining and keeps my interest, then I'll keep watching. So we'll see. But let me show another movie to you and see if you've seen it. Okay, and we can talk about it. All right. So let's see here. Let's go with this one. This is a good. I think this is 90s, I believe, like late 80s. Yeah, 89, 1989. Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck.
Have you seen this one?
I don't think so.
This is a John Candy actor in this, and it's directed by John Hughes. And John Hughes did John Hughes did. Oh man, what else? He did like Home Alone and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, John Hughes also did like 16 Candles and The Breakfast Club. So he did a lot of movies in the 80s. But Uncle Buck, I recommend this movie. It's a great comedy, and it's very 1980s. Not you really feel 80s America in this. So for sure.
Like it doesn't happen anymore.
Yes, yeah. Like of course, first of all, you have John Candy smoking, which you hardly see anyone smoking in movies now or TV shows. So it's definitely that's right there a big indication that it's an older movie, because unless it's a rated R movie or any kind of rated R anything, of course you can have whatever. But if it's a PG or PG-13, that's probably not going to have anyone smoking. No, real nothing like that. So yeah, it'll be. I think you may like it. So let me take a look here. Let's pick another one. I picked a bunch, different kinds of stuff, different. So see if you know. Okay, I'm gonna try not to drop these everywhere.
Do
All
you
right, are you
think
ready for
that
this?
do you think that the 80s is on a hype now?
Is the '80s a hype? You said?
80s a hype now,
Yeah.
for example,
Look,
a lot of movies and new kids are like they are liking 80s movies and music, you know.
I think so. I mean, the thing is that my son is a teenager, and I
Hmm.
obviously hangs out with all kinds of kids his age, and I've noticed that most of them have no idea, honestly, that much about anything past like 2010 and before. It's like they only know new modern day what's happening right now, unless you have introduced your kid or kids to movies or music or TV from a long time ago. They have no idea, and then they really don't have any interest in learning or whatever. So it's a very when I was growing up, I always was watching or listening to music from my parents' generation, or I was interested to listen to '70s music and '80s music, and I was always watching movies and TV shows from all kinds of like '50s, '60s, '70s, '80s, '90s. I always wanted to watch everything. And my son has zero interest. A lot of his friends, like, if there was a music that came on the radio, they would have, now my son does because I introduced it to him. So he'll sing the songs and he'll know the movies and things. But most of his friends, I would say, they have no idea because their parents, all they know is in front of their iPad, in front of their phone. That's all they do. And so they're only watching and listening to brand new stuff that came out the last couple years or whatever. So I think, yeah, you don't see that too often. Quite frankly, at least not in my experience. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't ever see that kind of thing. If you raise your kid that way, then of course they're more interested. But yeah, most parents could care less. They just say, "Here's your phone or here's your iPad. Now go, bye, get out of my face," and then the kid just watch stuff. So
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's happening.
yeah, I mean, my son and I, we sat down and we watched The Walking Dead together, and so that was good. And I was really happy for that. We watched that, and we watched lots of movies together. So I tried to get him as much experience as I can to those things.
Yeah, and it's good for the kid because the most movies that he watch, most his imagination get bigger, you know. This is
Sure.
intelligence.
Right, for sure. And I want him to have that experience because at the end of the day, I want him to see the world from different times and periods of time. You know,
Hmm.
the way a world was looked at in the 1980s is very different than right now, or in the 1990s, whatever. And
Yeah,
the culture was so much different. So
yeah,
it's I think it's very important for kids to understand there was a past before 2010, 2015. There was more before that. The most kids don't
yeah,
understand that. They don't understand or they
yeah,
don't care. So you can take it for whatever it's worth.
yeah. There was life before internet and even before the computer.
Right. Sure. And so, there's a part of me who's kind of sad that my son's generation, they're going to miss out on so many uh big deal, like big experiences, throughout the time, like cultural landmarks, like cultural moments and movies, TV, music, because it's in their minds, it's like from the 1930s. It's like from another world, even though it was only 30 years ago or 40 years ago. In their mind, it,
Yeah,
it feels like it's a different planet. And,
yeah,
when I was growing up, and probably for you the same, I was watching the same thing my parents were watching. I was listening to the same thing my parents were listening to. Sure, I could go and like watch a TV in my room if I want, but you still got together with the family more and more to do things and whatnot. But nowadays, now that's why my son still spends time with me, because I don't let him just disappear forever in his room. But most kids just, their parents never see them except when they have to go to the bathroom or they have to eat. That's it.
Yeah. Something funny, I've heard two guys, two 20 years old guys talking at the work where at my work, and they were saying, one was saying to the other, "Oh, I checked that band that you recommended me, the Beatles, and I like it."
Oh.
And I said, "What? You checked the Beatles? You didn't know the Beatles before?" And that's it.
It's
That's
better
it.
late than never. So I'll be happy with that, right?
Yeah, the guys was saying this. Oh, I liked, and I said, "What?"
So
and I realized, yeah, he doesn't know before.
of
Wow,
course,
this
right.
is impressive.
Well, my son, a couple days ago, I still have a CD player in my car. So I buy CDs to put in my car to listen to music. And my son, and I have even a CD, like the album that you can like pull CDs from back like in the 90s. And so he pulls the CD out to put in the CD player. And he was like, oh, he picks a CD and he goes, "Can we listen to this?" I'm like, "Do you even know what it is?" He said, "No." I go, "Okay, yeah, put it in." So he put it in. And you can see his face is kind of like, what? Like, what is this? Like, it's old music, especially even old to me. But I like the music, so I'm going to tell you who it was. And then the first song, he was kind of like, it sounds familiar, but I don't know who it is. And then the next song came up, and then he recognized, and he goes, "Oh, this is Elvis Presley." And I'm like, "Yes, this is Elvis." But he was like, he never really heard his music, like really listened before. And he listened to 3 or 4 songs with me. And then he was like, "Oh, okay, I know this." And I don't want to say he was like, "Oh, I like it." Maybe I don't want to say he liked it, but he recognized it. And he was like, "Oh," and he would even sing some of the songs, like a little bit of the words he remembered. And he was like, "Oh, nothing but a hound dog, calling all the time," or whatever. And I'm like, "Way to go, buddy. Yeah, that's right." So,
Yeah.
but like I said, most parents, they're listening to whatever's the digital on their streaming, in their car, whatever, like a satellite radio or like whatever, your paid service. And it's usually hot new music that's coming out today, and that's what their kids listen to. And so I rarely listen to like modern day music. I mean, rarely.
Yeah, I'm old school too. My wife does like modern music. She is my connection to the nowadays.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know half the stuff that's out anymore. Like my son will be like, "Oh, you're so old, Dad," which I am very old. But he's like, "You don't know who so and so is, or you don't know that song." I'm like, "Nope." And I'm like, "I'm totally fine with it. I don't care. I don't want to know." So it's fine.
Yesterday I went into a shop and there was a boy that came to sell me what I was to buy, and I was wearing a Judas Priest T-shirt, and he asked me, "Do you like Judas Priest?" And I said yes, and I looked to him and said, "It's node stuff, right?" And he laughed and he said yes. But he likes it so also.
Well, that's good. That's unusual that someone even that's 20s and in Brazil knows who Judas Priest is. That's unusual.
Yeah.
I could wear that shirt in America and like no one would even know who it is. They'd be like, "Judas Priest, what?" So yeah, they have no idea in America nowadays. I mean, unless they're my age or older, then they know. But so it's so funny because I have lots of like horror T-shirts from like horror movies, like Dawn of the Dead or like a blaxploitation, like Coffee, and I wear those shirts in public. And the people my generation or our generation and older will be like, "Hey man, I like your shirt." I'm like, "Hey, thank you." But my son will be like, "Do you know that guy?" And I'm like, "No," like that. but those shirts it's kind of a conversation starter, like Judas Priest shirt, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
you're most. I mean, but it's funny because sometimes I'll see young people and they'll wear like shirts like The Doors or
Mhm.
Guns N' Roses or whatever, and I'm like, do you even know their music? Have you even heard the music? Like some like 15-year-old girl, and I'm like, I seriously doubt you listen to Paradise City by the Guns N' Roses. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Or they're wearing like Nirvana shirts and like Pearl Jam. And I'm like, I know you never listen to their music. There's no way that you listen to their music.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I seriously
Yeah.
doubt it.
There's still hope in the world.
There is still hope. Fingers crossed, but
Fingers
I'm not
crossed.
gonna hold my breath. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Show me that movie.
Oh, the next movie?
Perfect Storm.
Yeah. Have you seen this one?
I don't think so.
It has George Clooney and Mark Wahlberg in it.
Good, great cast.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a Wolfgang Peterson movie, which is really good. But this is a also a highly recommended film.
Wow.
Because the you feel in the movie true um, like sacrifice will happen, like bad things will happen to these people eventually. Like you have that. It's what we say. I don't know. The word is foreboding, like a strong feeling that eventually things will not go well. And
Mm-hmm.
you just have that from the very beginning. It just has that feeling, and the acting is awesome. The special effects are good still, even though it's an older movie. It came out in like, let's see, 2000, which sounds about right. So the special effects for like the ocean and the boat and everything still look good, even 20 years later now, 23 years later. But it's a really good movie. And like I said, George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, those are big stars. But if
Yeah.
you put them in nowadays in movies, no one really goes to see the movie for them anymore. Like back then, putting George Clooney in the movie, you're guaranteed a strong box office. People are going to go see that movie. But George Clooney was in a movie recently with Julia Roberts, and like it didn't do nothing. It just was like, boo, boo, like nobody cares. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
I
Mark
recommend it.
Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg is for me is one of these actors that worth going to the theater for
Yeah,
watch the movie. He's good to pick his characters.
I do. I like him too. And early on in his career, some of his stuff he picked, like anybody who's younger,
Hmm.
I don't think I will watch all his movies, but most of the time, especially recently, he's picked a
Hmm.
lot of really good films to be a part of. So yeah, I agree. I definitely
Hmm.
agree. So let's go to something else. See if you know this one. I haven't even opened this movie yet, but we could talk about all the movies in this series if you've seen them all. I just picked up one.
Scream.
Scream. Have you
Hmm.
seen these movies at all?
Yes. Oh, it was a huge success here.
And oh yeah,
Yeah.
do they call it
Even the
Scream in Portuguese?
we call it pânico, like panic.
Oh, Panicle.
Yeah.
Panicle at the disco. So
Pânico. Yes, yes.
so yeah, Panicle. So when you first saw this movie in the first one,
Hmm.
what was your first thoughts about that movie? Because at the time, it was like
Hmm.
such a shock, such a like a big curveball that Wes Craven, the director, threw at the audience. So when you walked
Yes.
out of the theater or turned it off at the house, what was the first reaction?
I don't remember, but I think that I watched it on the theater with my
Mm-hmm.
wife, and my wife was still my girlfriend then, of course, but It was a really good movie. You know,
Yeah,
it was different that everything that we had until there.
sure. I
Yeah.
I completely agree, and I know they're getting ready to next month or March. They're going to do Scream Part 6. It's coming out, and I have not seen 5, and I don't. I maybe seen 4, but it was a long time ago. So I've been thinking about trying to go and watch them all, and then go see 6 in the theater. They're promising it's going to be really brutal, like bring it back to the original to make it real scary and real like really gory and brutal. And if that's the
Mhm.
case, then I want to go see it. But if it's the same silly kind of like teenage, almost PG-13 crap, I'm like, I don't want to go see that. At least not in the
Yeah.
theater. I don't want a bunch of teeny bopping kids in there with me talking and goofing off when I want to go see the scary movie, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't
But
want to
the
have a
first
real
one was
scenario.
really good. Really
What
good.
was that?
The first one was really good.
Right.
It
The first one was
opened.
really good, but after that, it was kind of like, you know? So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that they will have a part 6 will be really good. That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, the first time I saw the first one in the theater, I also saw it in the movie theater. Like you said, it came out in like 95, I bet, or something. So I was like 16, 17, probably. I'm not for sure. I don't know if it, I don't know. This is part 3. So what year did this come out? Does it say? Let's see here. I can't find the year this came out because that kind of gives me an idea. Yeah, who knows? I can't remember. So I'm not for sure, but so I would have to say it's close to like mid 90s, I would think. And
Yeah. But
yeah, man, I remember like it was like so. I mean, I remember being like really freaked out in a couple of the scenes. And now it's
yeah.
funny because the Ghostface killer, the costume is so silly. Like people almost make fun of it, and it's like in America, it was like on beer commercials, like it was like they made fun of it in like the movie Scary Movie that was making fun of the movie Scream. It was like a parody movie, and
Mm-hmm.
so it took away.
What's
It took,
up?
yeah, 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 exactly. And so they took away the scary factor of the costume. So and so even though in part 2 and 3 and 4 or whatever, it's still wearing the same costume, it kind of like loses the power. I'm just like, But I'm hoping in part
Yeah.
6 they changed it a little bit to make it more like weathered and more like worn and like kind of like creepy looking.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it gives it like a little bit of a vibe. I mean, like the trailer in America they show, I mean, it looks pretty brutal, like pretty aggressive. So I have some hope that it'll end up being pretty good. So we'll see.
It will be released when?
I believe in March.
March. It's getting close.
Yeah, my son wants to go see it, I think, too, even though he's never seen it in the other Scream movies. But there's an actress that he really likes that's in that. So I'm like, oh, I bet you do. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like,
That's
well, okay.
something.
Whatever
That's
it takes to
something.
get you there. Yeah, I don't care. That's fine. So yeah. So yeah, I agree. So what about this is another movie from the 90s, if you remember this movie. And I love this movie. And people don't ever talk about it anymore. And again, this is another actor that was, if he was in a movie, people went to go see it. Jim Carrey. If you put Jim Carrey in a movie in the 90s,
Mhm.
people go see
Wow.
that movie. Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber,
Mhm.
those kind of movies. And another one,
Yeah.
The Mask.
The mess. I
I
like
don't,
it.
I like it. I still like it. I really, really like this movie so much. Um,
Yeah, man. This
I just think
guy,
it's great.
I think that he has some kind of gift, because he's pretty special as a comedist,
Yes,
as a
most.
comedian.
From zero to hero, Jim Carrey. And then you have
Wow.
Cameron
It's
Diaz there on the back. And this was
that
her very first movie.
this
So
is really good.
so yeah. So anyways, yeah, I was pretty excited about that. So I love the music they have in it. The music's great. It has like a very like a Florida Cuban kind of like calypso type dancey type of music style. I really like the music in it. Jim Carrey's probably one of his best movies in my opinion because he kind of just he got to go crazy. You know, he got to go completely nuts in that movie.
Yeah. He's a great actor. What about the Truman Show?
Yes, the Truman Show.
What do you think?
I liked it. It's crazy because the Truman Show became what America is now, like the world is now. Everything about life's on video. It's being recorded. Every part of your life, people want to put out there. You basically live in this like you can live in like your own like little bubble your entire life, and putting yourself out there for people to view. So it was definitely and like how Americans or humans will watch other people's lives on TV all the time, like all the reality shows. People just doing stuff like mundane, like boring things, but people just watch like, oh, what are they gonna do next? Let's keep watching. And it just, you know, so that was very interesting that they saw that, you know, 25 years ago or whatever, maybe even longer. And now the world is exactly that way in a lot of ways. So yeah.
Yes. And he showed another side of him as an actor. He changed. He showed that he was really good actor in that movie.
Yes.
Not just comedian.
Yeah, he actually a movie that he doesn't get spoke about a lot, it doesn't get talked about a lot that he did around that same time was The Majestic. Have you ever seen that?
The Majestic.
Yeah, he comes back. They think he's they think he's the son that was a war hero or was a war was he was killed in World War II, but he comes back to this town and they think it's the son of the father, but it's not. But they want to believe it, so they kind of make him the long lost son to World War II. And then, like as the movie progresses, people start realizing, of course, he looks very much like the son, but it's not him, and this isn't somebody else. But he had amnesia. He got in a wreck and like fell and almost died in a car wreck. And so he like they find him or he stumbles into this town. And anyways, he becomes like the like a part of the movie theater called the Majestic. Like he's helping out with the Majestic Theater and like, you know, like trying to like help like restore the town's like faith and like humanity or whatever. It takes place in like the 40s or 50s. It's a really good movie. No comedy, no slapstick, no parody, just straight up like a lighthearted drama. It's and it has a very, like I said, like a real strong like early 50s vibe. I think I recommend that movie a lot because I think that's the movie for me that show that Jim Carrey has lots of range as an actor. But people don't talk about it because it wasn't a real popular movie. It didn't do very well.
Yeah,
so
but I agree.
After that, he went to like back to Liar, Liar, and all these other movies that were more popular. Me, Myself, and Irene that were a lot more comedy based. So yeah.
Yeah, but Majestic is a wonderful movie.
Oh, you have seen it? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, my mom saw that movie, and my mom don't like movies, you know. And my mom, she said me, okay, that movie is wonderful. And then I watched it. It was a long time ago.
Yes, it's a great one. Yes, I highly recommend The Majestic. So that's good. So what about you? Is there any movies you think, oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, Joe, that's a good point. Joe said Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That's another good one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot. That was one with Kate Winslet in it. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah, that's another one of those ones where people don't talk about very much. But in the late 90s, when it first came out, like 99 or 2000 or whenever it came out, that's a great one. So yeah, I need to go back and revisit that movie. I need to revisit that one and Being John Malkovich. Do you remember that movie, Being John Malkovich? Yeah, that's another one. I need to go back and watch that again.
Here it's called like something like Everyone is John Malkovich.
Yeah. Well, that's not wrong. That's okay.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
good translation, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, John Malkovich, such a great actor. So, oh man. So, what about for you? Is there a movie that you think maybe you've watched that I need to see? Maybe I haven't seen it. Is there something that you can think of that you're like, Jason, you need to check this movie out?
Oh,
Because there's a
the
chance,
hard the hard part is think about a movie that you didn't watch
right?
yet.
That's true. That's very true. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. My wife said super bad.
Super bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
super
I've
bad.
seen Super Bad. It's a good one. It's a good.
Super
Yeah.
bad. It's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a good choice. Yes. I haven't
But
seen it in a long time.
I like I don't know the name of the movie, but I like a movie of I like that actor Robert Duvall.
Robert
You
Duvall.
know
Yes.
Robert Duvall, and he was a farmer on Texas, and he had a grandson that he didn't know, and they went to Mexico
Oh,
together.
yes. I have not
Do
seen
you
it, but I know
remember
what you're
that movie?
talking about. I've heard about this movie.
Yeah, and there is a good lesson in this movie because they are on Mexico and his grandson is a modern guy and he think that his grandpa is too conservative and this kind of thing,
Sure.
and he's a bad person, this kind of thing. And they are in Mexico, and then one guy comes to him on the street and ask for some money, and he give $10 for the guy. He said, "Okay, I give you $10 for kill yourself. Go fuck yourself." And then, and then, and then his grandson say, "Oh, you are a horrible person. What you said to the guy to kill himself?" And then he said to his grandson, "I give him $10. How much did you give him?"
Right.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
that's what's happening nowadays,
Right.
people pointing fingers saying, "Oh, you are a horrible person," but they are not doing anything,
Right. Yeah.
you
It's
know.
so easy to pass out judgment on people online, and knowing that you didn't do anything yourself, but no one will call you out on those kind of things. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is very true statement. So
You have to watch that movie.
yeah,
It's
I will
really
check it out.
cool.
I know what you're. I've seen that. I know I've seen the cover on the Blu-ray. I know what you're talking about. So I'll have to give it a look for sure.
It's something like One Night in Mexico or something
Yeah.
like this.
So here's another one that no one talks about. You probably have never seen this movie before. I saw it this on accident one time a couple years back in 2005 when this movie probably came out, I would say. And because everything's CGI nowadays, like even animals, everything CGI. It takes you most of the time, unless it's really really good. It takes you out of the movie. It kind of makes you go, this movie kind of sucks. The CGI is terrible. So this
Hmm.
movie, they use real dogs, and it's called The Breed. And this is a
The
horror
Breed.
movie with using
No,
real.
I never watch it.
I'm sure no one's probably seen it, but I recommend this movie because they use real dogs in all the scenes to do the attacking of the humans, and so it's all in camera, real animal attacks with the dogs they're
Wow.
using. They don't use CGI. There's not any fake dogs running around or like puppets or whatever. It's all real dogs, and
Wow.
yeah, I really like it a lot. It has I don't know if you know Michelle Rodriguez. She's from the she's from the Fast and the Furious movies. If you remember the Fast and the Furious movies, she's like
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
she's in this, and they
She's the
get Wes,
girlfriend of Toretto.
yes, and then like
Okay.
Wes Craven, he's one of the producers who did the Nightmare on Elm Street movies and Scream. He
Mm,
helped produce this. So, anyways, so I recommend this movie. I'm not
don't
saying it's a good.
breathe.
Yeah, it's not a good movie. It's not like, oh, this is a great acting movie. The acting is so wonderful, but it's really good because it's real dogs. It's a real attack. It's that to me is unusual in modern day time. So I just thought it was a fun movie, and it's actually pretty scary. Like they show the dogs just like ripping people apart. So it's like, whoa, like okay. So yeah, I liked it.
That's impressive.
And I know you like dogs. You're a dog person.
Yeah. I have some.
Where's was it Chewbacca? Where's Chewie, right?
Yeah, Chewbacca is there sleeping. He's
Oh,
a
okay.
lazy scumbag.
That's awesome. Okay, let's see. Let me try to find another one here. I'm gonna pull. See if you talk about. This is another actor who, anytime he was in a movie throughout the '80s and into the '90s, he could get butts in the seats. But now, probably not. Even if he's even though he's still a good actor, and I like a lot of the stuff he does, it's probably a hard sell to get people excited. Sylvester Stallone and Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you know this movie?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's another name here, of course, but it's awesome. That movie is awesome.
Yeah, this movie is so good. I
Yeah.
highly recommend this movie to anybody who just wants a really good action movie that's pretty brutal. There's a lot of really like bloody fight scenes and people getting killed off in pretty nasty ways. This is a
Mm-hmm.
really good 90s action movie.
What's the name in English? Let me see.
Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. Cliffhanger. Right. I'm trying
So
to
yeah.
remember the name here. It's something like, oh, danger in the high. Something like
Dangerous. Yeah. Well, that's true. And then it's very dangerous, and when you go high, it's very dangerous. But yeah, that's a good one. I remember seeing that also. The theater was really impressed with it. I thought it was great. But like I said, Sylvester Stallone movies. I mean, he did those Rocky ones. The Rocky ones were pretty good still. The ones he was doing with Creed, I think they did okay. But the last Rambo movie didn't do anything. I think the last Creed movie was okay, didn't do much. But I know that he's doing a new TV show called Tulsa King, and everybody who's seen that they're liking it a lot. So I'm gonna, and it's on Paramount, so I don't have Paramount, so I probably won't watch it anytime soon.
I watched a movie, a new movie called Samaritan. Have you watched it?
Oh yeah, was it any good?
Yeah, it was good. It's
It was
like
good.
we
Yeah, I
said
heard it was
here,
like 90s.
it was an afternoon session movie, but it was cool.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I heard it more has like a very like 1990s vibe in the movie, like a very 90s feel to the movie. So
Yeah, he's like a superhero, and it's cool. It's more for kids, but it's cool.
yeah, I'll have to check it out. I've heard the movie Plane. I don't know if you've heard it. It's in the theater right now in America. It's called like Plane, not Airplane, but Plane. It has Gerard Butler in it, who did lots of those the White House White House Down or Olympus Has Fallen, and he did a lot of those like movies, like action movies, and it's a movie he's in, and everybody said it's like a really strong like 90s action flick. They said that Hollywood surprisingly made a 90s action flick in 2022, 2023. And people said if you like those 90s action movies like Cliffhanger, that you will like Plane. So I want to go to the theater and try to go see it in the theater before they take it out. So I might go next weekend or maybe this week or something, go see it.
I like the Jared Butler's movies.
Yeah.
I last week I watched one that I didn't like it. It was called last time seeing something like this when
Okay.
he lost his wife and he started to follow the the bad guys that captured his wife. But
Uh-huh.
I didn't like it, but I like his movies.
Yeah. I mean, not everyone's going to be a home run, so I understand. But like
Hmm.
you said, I usually watch his movies a lot. I like him. I feel like he's a very believable action star, so I like it. So
Yeah.
I like that. He's kind of like Liam Neeson again. Now he's too old now, but there was like a 10 or 15 year period that Liam Neeson was in all these action movies, and he came off as like believable action star. Like to me, it
Hmm.
was believable. It wasn't like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Stallone, all the muscles. It was like an everyman, like
Hmm.
kind of like a Bruce Willis, kind of like you believe
Yeah.
this guy. He can do bad things, but that's not really. He's not going around like he's like strong and intimidating. Like, oh, I have all these muscles.
Hmm.
Yeah, kind of like John Wick's kind of like that. John Wick's just like a killer. He just
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
just knows how to kill you. He's not running around with
Hmm.
all these muscles, and he's not pulling out huge guns and just like chopping people
Hmm.
down. He
Yeah.
just chops you in the neck or whatever, and it's over with.
Yeah.
So,
Like Denzel Washington too.
yes. Like, have you seen Equalizer?
Yes.
Man, that's a
I
good
love
one.
it.
That's a good one.
I love it.
Yeah. Have you seen the Magnificent Seven, the remake?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
another good one too. He's great at that.
Too scary for me, but it.
Too scary. What?
Yeah.
Why? What was scary about Magnificent? It's a western. It takes place out in the
Oh,
west.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm confusing. I thought that you were talking about the Seven.
Oh, seven. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely seven with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. That's pretty scary. You're right.
Yeah. I'm confusing.
Yeah, but have you seen Magnificent Seven? Have you ever seen that one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
Yes.
I
Yes.
like it. That's another big cast. You have Chris Pratt, Denzel
Mhm.
Washington, Vincent D'Onofrio, Ethan Hawke. Man, such a great cast.
Yeah.
You know, Peter Skarsgård is the bad guy or whatever in it. Man, it's such a good one. That's a really good one. I did not
Yeah.
want to like it because I liked the original Magnificent Seven from like the 60s or the early 70s. And I was like, man, they're just cashing in. This movie's going to suck. And then I started watching it. And I'm like, nope, this movie's better. I hate saying that, but I really like this one a lot better. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes happen.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens. I mean, it is true. So yeah, I definitely like the Magnificent Seven. That's another good one that, I think they did a great job um, with them making it modernize his cast, and it still kept like the heart of the movie. And the other thing is, they have a guy that obviously have a black guy, there's an Asian guy, there's a Mexican guy, there's an Indian, and like no one talks about that being an issue. It's just like these guys are gonna go just do the right thing, go and save the townspeople. It's a movie that has nothing to do with the background or the race of the people. They're just
Hmm.
seven good guys who want to do the right thing and know they're going to try probably die doing it. And
This is why
this
it's
is for
good.
Hollywood. That's unusual. They usually have to
Yeah.
make it like the movie has to be about what their race is, or some bad thing
Hmm.
happened to them going through the out west in the country or something. But that conversation like never happens, which I appreciate. They just made a good action western movie that has a
Yeah.
good solid good versus evil feeling, and
Hmm.
it paid off at the end. You walk out of the theater going, that's a hell of a movie.
Yeah.
And it's a rarity in Hollywood right now where you have a movie that doesn't want to talk about those topics. So I will give Antoine Fuqua the director, I think that's how you pronounce his name, all the credit there, that he focused on just the good acting and the good movie and the good storytelling, and not focus on the other stuff. So I'm happy to see that.
Yeah.
So what about you? What's your favorite type of genre? Horror, Western, action, comedy, documentary, drama? What's your favorite?
I don't know. I like
Love
every kind of
stories?
movies. Yeah, I think that I like action movies.
Right.
I'm an 80s boy, you know,
Yeah.
like you've said, Rambo, Schwarzenegger, this
Yeah.
kind of
Oh, me
movie.
too. Yep. I could pop in almost any 80s action movie and be super excited and be totally fine with just going to like a trip down memory lane, like just nostalgia, just enjoying the ride. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
crazy that you don't see, like I said, when somebody told me that movie that just came out called Plane has that very strong like 80s 90s this action movie, like no big plot, no big like no big agenda they're trying to preach to people, just an action movie. They're just random bad guys that good guys trying to kill, and I'm like, yes, that's what I want to see. I'm not asking
That's
for a
what
lot here.
everyone wants to see in a movie.
Right. They make movies that people don't want to see in a Hollywood, and then they're surprised when no one wants to go see them, and then everybody thinks it sucks. But then movies they actually want to go see, they just drop in the middle of January or February, and then they know no one's going to go see it. That's actually pretty good. Ooh, okay. Here's Dr. Joe has another good one. That's a good question. So he asks, which franchise do you guys like better, Mission Impossible or James Bond? Ooh, that's a good one. I like that. So I'll let you go first, Renato. Do you have a preference, and what do you like better?
Polemic, right?
What'd you say?
It's kind of polemic.
Yeah, it is problematic. This is true.
I think that Mission Impossible, it's better for me. I'm not a James Bond guy.
Yeah, I would agree. I do like James Bond movies. I do enjoy them, but like James Bond, I feel like there's more, for me, more misses than hits. Right? There's some really good ones out there that I really enjoy, but I feel like there's some really cheesy ones that are kind of goofy, at least nowadays, that I don't know if I can get excited about. But I do like some of them. I like a lot of the Sean Connery originals. I do enjoy that, and I like mostly the Pierce Brosnan and a couple of the Daniel Craig ones. But not all the Daniel Craig ones have been good either. So some of them have been kind of misses for me. But overall, and I did not like Timothy Dalton at all. And I didn't like, who was the other guy? Timothy Dalton. Shoot. Oh, come on, Joe, help me out here, Joe. I think you're a James Bond guy, so I'm pretty sure you and I have talked about this before. Timothy Dalton, and who was the other guy? There was one other one that I'm forgetting. Sean Connery, Pierce Brosnan, Daniel Craig, Timothy Dalton, and one more. I can't remember. Shoot. But anyways, but the other, I can't think of the other guy. But anyway, so I wasn't a big fan of any of the Timothy Dalton ones. I was like, eh. So yeah, but the Mission Impossible, I like the first couple, and then there's a one or two that's in the middle, like Ghost Protocol and something else. I think I was kind of like, meh. But Fallout was awesome. I just watched Fallout just yesterday, the day before. I hadn't watched it in a long time, and I really liked Fallout. And they're getting ready to do 2 new James Bond movies. One's coming out in a couple months, and then the next one comes out, I guess, next year. So I'm pretty excited about that because that was pretty good. But yeah. What about you?
Talking about James Bond, what came into my mind is Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah. I mean, he was our James Bond, right?
Yeah, I think that he was our James Bond.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Henry? Oh crap, I missed so much. Henry, I know we might be ending here this pretty soon. I'm not for sure, but I appreciate you popping in and visiting, brother. But yeah, Pierce Brosnan was ours. GoldenEye, right?
Mm-hmm.
GoldenEye. What are some of the other ones that he did? GoldenEye. Something about Tomorrow. Tomorrow Never Dies. I think something like that. He did 3 or 4 also, but I can't remember them all. He did the one where
Tomorrow Never Dies. It's translation, literal translation to the Portuguese.
Oh,
Tomorrow
really?
Never
It's the
Dies.
same one. Tomorrow Never Dies. Well, that's
one
good.
movie.
Oh my gosh. So okay, Henry, the drama and the YouTube Hall of Fame right now is good. It's good that you left. Sports Card Dad threw everyone under the bus. Oh gosh. I don't even know who that is, but I'll have to check it out. Someone sent me a clip, Henry. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds about it, but someone cut a clip out, I guess, of Snoop going off on either that guy or saying something. But there was some words being said that maybe modern day 2023 is not acceptable. So Henry goes, I love me some James Bond. Yes, man, James Bond. Like I said, some James Bond movies I like, but like we were talking about earlier, I'm not a big James Bond fan. Like overall, like some of the movies are fine, but the whole franchise, I would pick Mission Impossible over that for sure. So let me ask you this, Renato. Mission Impossible or the Bourne movies? Bourne Identity, Bourne Supremacy, Bourne Ultimatum. Which one do you think is better?
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. Okay. So you're staying strong with Mission Impossible. That's good.
Yeah.
You're not going to cheat on Mission Impossible. You're not going to cheat on it.
Yeah.
You're staying. You're staying that. So yeah. So
I'm not a big fan of Jason Bourne.
Yeah. I like the first couple, but then the same thing. It's like it's the same thing every time. It's just the same movie, just with a different location. It's like, they're like in America, they're in Germany, they're in France, they're in India, they're in whatever. Just the same thing over and over and over again.
You're right. The same movie in different places.
Yeah, and then there's even most of the time it's the same actors in the movie too. Like the same 3 or 4 in every movie. They kill one off, they introduce a new one, which is great. But then that person's in 1 or 2 movies, so it's just like keeps going. And then Henry goes, Mission Impossible has better music. Yes, it does. The Mission Impossible music is legit. That intro song is so legit. Like the remix they did from the 90s, I still listen to it. I still love the Mission Impossible like remix that they did in like 1996 or whenever the first one came out. I'm like, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, yeah, I love it, dude. Yeah, it's like straight up like some 1990s rave dance hall music. I totally agree, Henry. So I'm trying to think of any other movie franchise that came out I feel like Mission Impossible, Bourne movies, and James Bond are all kind of in the same vein. Like kind of like a, global, espionage and global war type stuff going on. And I think there's no other shows that are like that or movies that are like that. I think those 3 pretty much cover it. And yeah, I agree. I think the Mission Impossible movies, it's a bit further up for me too. So, James Bond has lots of movies, but
talking about espionage, I remember that a good miniseries that I've watched called The Americans. Have you watched it?
I've seen some of it with Kerry Russell. Yes.
Yeah, The Americans, they are 2 Russian spies that live in America. And it's really good.
Yeah, I need to watch it. I've had a lot of friends tell me that's a good one. I think in America right now, most streaming services, I feel like they have that one for free. You can just start watching for free. Like there's it's easy to watch. So I need to buckle down and watch it. So yeah, oh yeah, Henry has to Get Smart. Isn't Get Smart from the 60s, right? I don't know. I don't know if I could do Get Smart, man. I would like to say I could do Get Smart, but I feel like it's probably a little bit too 60 vibe for me to like really enjoy it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll give it a shot. Maybe we'll see. But I want to say that once I sat down and started watching, I'd be like, all right, that's a couple episodes. That's enough. I get it. I'm not interested. So yeah. But yeah. So hey, Renato, it's we've been doing it for about a little over hour and 15 minutes. So I think this is a good place to stop so we don't spend forever. But
Okay.
maybe we could do this again. Maybe in a couple of days we'll do another one if that's okay with you.
It's perfect for me. It's
All right,
a deal.
Yeah, we have to do
Makes
this
me
while you're
time to
still.
watch some new movies and
Yes, let's
take
watch
some
some new
notes.
movies, and then we can talk about it.
All right.
All right, man. All right, brother. Well, thank you for coming and hanging out. I appreciate it. I thank you, Henry. I thank you, Joe, for hanging out with us, and anybody else who I saw kind of few people pop in and out. So thank you, everybody, and we'll do this again very soon. So until then, peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much. See ya there.
Yes.